Today I'm going to show you how to put a gray water bypass on a flow jet waste pump, sometimes normally known as a macerator. I have the flow jet macerator that has the outlet for the waste hooked up to a garden hose. Also has an inlet for a tank flushing system. The components today are going to be a 1-inch flex tube that we have here and a 3/4 inch flex tube, as well as a 1-inch T to a 3/4 inch connection. Going to have a 1-inch connector, a 3/4 inch connector, and then also a 90-degree 1-inch connector, as well as 2 hose connectors here as well, and a 3/4 inch and a 1-inch clamp. And the tools I believe that I'll need for the job are going to be the hose clamp crimpers, a drill, a regular screwdriver, and then also my braided hose cutting pliers. So what the principle of the macerator is, to drain the water you need to have the motor running. What I'm looking to do is to have a bypass for the gray water, so you do not have to run the pump motor, and it simply just bypasses and drains normally if you have your valve open. Now as I mentioned earlier, you have your outlet here. You also have your rinse, tank rinse in. I'm going to use this tank rinse as the actual bypass, so as the water drains from the tank, it's going to go through this bypass and out into the T and into the drain hose to the sewer line itself. Now this is designed to be a tank flush, so it has a very small, it's hard to see, but a very small hole in the inside, and also has a spray nozzle inside to help spray it. I'm going to modify that so it actually has a good flow of water in the opposite direction. So the first thing I'll do is take off this shutoff valve that it has here. It also has inside this connector is a rubber spray nozzle that'll come out of here that looks like this, that allows you to have a spray. And now we'll modify that by trimming it off and putting the rubber seal back in. As you can see here, now you have a hole that's pretty restricted, and I'm going to go ahead and drill that out using a 7/16 inch drill to give it better water flow. Now that I've had the hole drilled out, and just a slight correction, as I was drilling, it's actually a 3/8 bit, not a 7/16 bit as I mentioned earlier, but I just ran a drill through the inside along this shaft to make the hole just a little bit larger. You can kind of see the light coming through there. Now the nozzle that was there before for the backflow, I just took an X-Acto knife, utility knife, and just cut it so I can just have the washer left itself, and that's all I will use to put right back in here to give it a nice seal as I put the one-way valve back on as before. So now we have a good opportunity for water to flow in the opposite direction as I use it for the gray tank drain itself. As you can see, I've put that on now, and that actually concludes the modifications to the pump itself. I will now begin here and prepare the materials to do the bypass system that will hook up to both the outlet on this end for the gray water backflow, or bypass rather, and then also the output of the waste when the pump is running. So as you can see, I've prepared the materials to put together the bypass portion that's going to be coming out of the exhaust of the motor, that's going to actually go to the sewer line. And so what you see here is I have the garden hose connector to your 1-inch PVC plumbing connector to a 90-degree elbow. It'll go to the 1-inch line. It'll go to the 1-inch T that has a 3/4 inch, which will actually be the inlet for the bypass. Another piece of 5-inch hose in length, but it's the 1-inch diameter inside, and then the connector here that will hook up to the exhaust pipe, or the exhaust tube, or the exhaust hoses that go to the sewer itself. And so as you can see, I have this all prepared. Once I assemble it, it will connect to this here. I'll be back with you shortly after I have assembled it and crimped the connectors down and installed it. Okay, now I have assembled the exhaust of the waste pump, as you can see there. And this end here will hook up to the hose that goes to the sewer inlet at your various parks. Now I'm going to actually put the overflow on, which the gray water would flow through here, as you saw earlier, this valve that I've modified and drilled out and come through here. With that, I will use this connector that will fit to this end of this valve here, connect the hose to it using the clamp, a 3/4 inch clamp, and then on the other end I will use this connector with this clamp as well, connecting it to the hose and then inserting it there, and that will give me my bypass. And now we'll assemble it and show you the completed product in a moment. Okay, this is the completed bypass for the flow jet macerator. As you can see here in this illustration, as I talked about before, I've included the bypass itself. So those who are not familiar with the operation of the flow jet and bypass mode, it can be used when you're at long-term stays at RV parks and you want to let your gray water drain freely. This is certainly the device that will allow you to do that, and by doing so you can open your gray water valve tank, come down through this valve here, you open this valve here, and it'll drain through this water hose on out, down through the T, and out, connected to your line that takes you to your sewer dump location. And when you want to run your black water and run the pump itself, you just reach over, close this, open your black valve, and it will drain, and it will come through this exhaust and down through this area and back to the drain. So hopefully you found this useful and informational. It is my very first video of any kind on instruction, so hope that you find this useful. This is my first year RVing, and we are truly enjoying it. Good day.